You're standing in the mirror, and for a split second, you don't recognize yourself. Not your face, the shape of your nose, the color of your eyes, those are still yours. But something deeper, something behind your eyes, feels absent, like someone dimmed a light inside you and forgot to turn it back on. You blink, shake it off, tell yourself you're just tired, but the feeling stays with you as you brush your teeth, as you lock the door, as you smile at a stranger on the street. And deep down, in a place you don't like to visit, you wonder, am I losing my mind? Let me take you somewhere. Not a psychiatric ward, not a textbook. Somewhere more familiar. A Tuesday afternoon. Someone, let's call them Alex, is sitting in a meeting. Their boss is talking. Words are being said. Alex nods at the right moments, even laughs when others laugh. But inside, Alex is counting the tiles on the ceiling. 12 across, 18 down, 216 total. They've counted them 47 times this month, because counting is the only thing keeping them tethered to the room. Without it, they feel like they might float away, dissolve into the air conditioning vents, cease to exist. No one in that meeting knows this. To them, Alex is fine, high functioning, maybe even thriving. This is the thing about madness. It doesn't announce itself with screaming or straitjackets. It whispers. It hides behind competence. It wears your face better than you do. What if I told you that madness doesn't arrive overnight, that it builds, quietly, in moments you've already lived through and forgotten? In the childhood bedroom, where you learned that expressing emotion meant punishment. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. So you stopped. You swallowed every tear, every scream, every moment of terror or rage or overwhelming sadness. And your brain, miraculous and desperate to keep you safe, rewired itself around silence. Psychologists call this emotional suppression. But what they don't always tell you is what happens when you do this for years, decades. Your nervous system becomes a pressure cooker with a broken release valve, and eventually, something has to give. In 1973, psychologist David Rosenhan conducted an experiment that shattered psychiatry. He sent 8 perfectly sane people to psychiatric hospitals, complaining of hearing voices. All 8 were admitted. Most were diagnosed with schizophrenia. And here's the horrifying part. Once inside, they couldn't get out. They behaved normally, told staff they felt fine, that the voices had stopped. It didn't matter, because once you're labeled, once you're seen through the lens of madness, everything you do becomes evidence of your illness. The sane became insane simply because someone said they were. Now imagine you're not in a hospital. You're in your own life, and the label isn't written on a chart. It's whispered behind your back. They're not handling things well. They seem off lately. Maybe they need help. And suddenly, your reality shifts. You start questioning yourself. Am I overreacting? Am I too sensitive? Am I broken? The body knows before the mind admits it. You start waking up at 3 a.m., heart racing for no reason. Your jaw aches from clenching teeth in your sleep. You get headaches that no doctor can explain. Pain shoots through your chest, your stomach, your limbs. You go to specialists. They run tests. Everything comes back normal. But you're not imagining it. Trauma lives in the body. When your mind can't process what's happening, your body holds the score. Bessel van der Kolk spent decades proving this. Your nervous system is stuck in survival mode, flooding you with cortisol, keeping your amygdala on high alert, shutting down your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes rational decisions, that helps you feel like yourself. You lose time, not in dramatic ways, just gaps. You'll be driving, and suddenly you're home, but you don't remember the last 15 minutes. You'll be in a conversation, and someone will reference something you said, but you have no memory of saying it. You're there, but you're not. Psychologists call this dissociation. your mind's emergency exit when reality becomes unbearable. Here's what that looks like. You're at a family dinner. Everyone's laughing. You're smiling. You're nodding. You might even be talking, but you're not present. You're watching yourself from somewhere near the ceiling, like a director observing a scene. The person at that table wearing your face, that's a performance, a puppet. The real you is far away, hiding in some unreachable corner of your consciousness. And the cruelest part? People praise you for it. You're so strong. You handle everything so well. I don't know how you do it. They reward your performance. They celebrate your mask until the day it cracks. Then suddenly, you're too much, too emotional, too unstable, too broken. Society has no patience for visible pain, only decorative suffering, the kind that stays in therapy sessions and journal entries, the kind that doesn't inconvenience anyone. So you keep performing, you keep smiling through the static in your brain, until one day, something small happens. You drop your keys. That's it, just keys falling onto a tile floor. And suddenly, you're on your knees, sobbing so hard you can't breathe. You're laughing and crying at the same time, and you don't know which is which anymore. An hour passes before you can stand. That moment, terrifying as it is, isn't the end. It's your mind finally refusing to carry what it was never meant to hold. It's rebellion, not a weakness. But here's what no one tells you about that moment, about the breakdown, the unraveling, the point where you can't pretend anymore. No one tells you that it's also a doorway. That madness, in its rawest form, is sometimes the only honest thing left in a life built on performance and denial. Virginia Woolf walked into a river with stones in her pockets. Vincent van Gogh cut off his own ear. Sylvia Plath put her head in an oven. These weren't just tragedies. They were people who felt everything in a world designed for feeling nothing. Their madness wasn't a flaw. It was an excess of aliveness that had nowhere to go. This isn't romanticizing suffering. It's recognizing that the line between genius and madness, between deep feeling and breaking apart, is thinner than we pretend. And sometimes, the people who lose their minds are simply the ones who refuse to lose their hearts. The descent happens in stages. First, hypervigilance. You're scanning every room for threats, reading into every word, every facial expression, every silence. Your nervous system is a smoke detector that thinks everything is fire. Then depersonalization. You look at your hands, and they don't feel like yours. You hear your voice, and it sounds foreign. You're living your life from behind a thick pane of glass, present but unreachable. Then the fractures, intrusive thoughts that won't stop, paranoia, the feeling that people are watching, judging, plotting. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. You can't tell anymore. Reality becomes subjective, flexible, unreliable. And then, for some, psychotic features, hallucinations, delusions, the complete dissolution of the boundary between internal and external reality. This is the point most people fear, the point of no return. Except, it's not always a point of no return. Some people come back, changed, scarred, but back. They learn that sanity isn't about being strong. It's about being honest, about saying, "I'm not okay," before your mind decides to say it for you in ways you can't control. If you're dissociating, name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. This is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding technique. It sounds simple because it is. Your brain needs anchors. Give it something concrete to hold on to. Find one person who won't pathologize your pain. Not someone who'll say, "Just think positive." Not someone who'll tell you to meditate and drink water. Someone who'll sit with you in the mess without trying to fix it. Because sometimes, being witnessed is more healing than being cured. And understand this, some people never come back, not because they're weak, but because they were strong for too long. Because they held everything together until their mind couldn't distinguish between holding and shattering. You might be closer to that edge than you think. Or maybe you've already been there. Maybe you've already felt your mind slip, just for a moment, and caught yourself before anyone noticed. Maybe you're still catching yourself every single day. The mirror is still there. You're still standing in front of it. And the question remains, so tell me, when you look in the mirror, do you still recognize who's looking back? Or have you been performing sanity for so long that you forgot what your real face looks like?